Hello, welcome. So the question's been asked, how do I pick a book that I'm going to alter into an art journal? And there's a couple of things that I look at, and this book has a couple of those things. Number one, the pages are not super shiny. Now, I have all kinds of lights. As a matter of fact, I'm missing one. Let's turn that one on as well. There we go. Even with all these lights, I don't get that beaming reflection. So it's more of a matte finish. I like that. Okay, number two, and I've already started tearing things out of this book. I don't know if you can see here, but the book is stitched. Let's find another signature. The signatures in this book are not very deep. Here we go. I tore again. Do you see that line right here? Right here, that's thread. A stitched book is not a glued book. And so a stitched book is more likely to hold together as you use sprays, wet mediums, and those kinds of things. Now, Thomas Kinkade, a fantastic artist. I love to look at his work. I enjoy it. I don't want it in my home. I don't decorate with it. It's just not my thing, but it is beautiful. I would never deny that. So the second thing about this book is its size. Look at the amount of journaling space I will have when I am working in this book. Also, a stitched book tends to be willing to lay flat at almost any page or near flat. It will never lay as flat as a spiral bound, but you don't have that big old spiral in there. And we're going to be doing things to make this want to lay a little bit flatter. So those were the two biggest things about this book. Well, I guess it's three. The size, the fact that the pages are not glossy, shiny, and the size and the stitching. So that's why I picked this book. I've already harvested some pictures out of it, but let me show you this book. And by the way, I'm Julie Torrance, and welcome to my studio. This is a book that I picked out, and see if you can guess why I picked it out. Look at this. Look at this. Now I can turn the page, and here we go again. Every page is this way. Now, oh, Julie, there you go again, ruining a good book. I'm not ruining a good book. I'm saving a book for the landfill. I got this book at the library. It was a quarter because I don't know exactly why, but the librarians have told me, and I know I've said this before, and this I got at a thrift store, but this was, she said the biggest reason why they take books out of circulation and set them out for sale is because they haven't been checked out for 5 years or more. Now, a children's book, you'd think that might be kind of hard to believe. Well, it may have had to do with the condition of the cover or some other thing. Maybe they got more of the book. Do you know what I mean? And this was like because it can be because they're wore out in their opinion. So I took this book because of these fold out pages. Now, this book, can you see how shiny this book is? That is a turnoff for me, but it is still not as shiny as, let's say, a magazine. It's close. It's close. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to treat a couple of pages, and we'll see how they react. This book, by the way, is also stitched. It is not, it's sewn. It's not glued. So that's a big plus. And the cover was in decent shape. So the size of the page for this one was my main thing, was this feature of how these are. And what I did here was just a test. I've got two of them, and I wanted to know if I put two together, because the pages are rather thin, would it still fold okay? And yes, it will. So now I buy books from Friends of the Library, and most libraries have some system of selling off books. My library has them out all the time. Other libraries have specific days, maybe one day a month, maybe a couple days a year, where they have donated books and they have other books that they're just selling. Now, this I got from the thrift store, and it was every hardcover book was $1. So I paid $1 for this book. This book is still on Thrift Books, and I want to say it's like $15 or $18 brand new. I wouldn't pay that because it's not the first time I've seen a Thomas Kinkade book. So I'll start with this book and how I'm going to get it ready. This is a fly page, the fly sheet. This is usually a special paper. Sometimes it's marbled. This one is made to look like more of a handmade paper, but it's nice, and I'm just going to leave that. I don't do anything with those. It is common that they are glued very tight to the first page of the book itself, of the brick of the book. So I usually leave this alone for that reason. So this could be the first page that I would journal on. But then what I like to do is, because I'm going to be adding mediums, because I'm going to be adding collage, because I'm going to be adding paints and glues, this book is going to want to get thicker. And so because of that, I'm going to be tearing out pages. And the way that I tear out pages is I decide where I'm starting. So I'm saying, this is my first page, leave it. This is my second page. It comes out. And I do that as carefully as I can. I am going to save it. This page, and there's been several taken out in between here. Again, I did some harvesting for the pictures. Now I'm going to glue this page to this page. I use a white PVA glue, and the reason why is glue stick, I feel, is not designed to have, I put some water in here because it was so thick. Normally you would want to leave that overnight. So we're just going to have a little noise, and here we go. It's going to be fine. But PVA glue is a little bit stronger and hardier when you're using wet mediums. Now I'm taking, this is like a credit card type thing, and I'm going to start smearing this glue down. Now, many journal and book aficionados, however you say that, those that are expert or really know what they're talking about way more than me, they'll use things like Yes Paste. I don't have any Yes Paste, and as long as I've got some kind of glue, I'm going to use it. Now, if you're using a glue that says washable, that says designed for children, I would not use that in a project like this. It is designed just as it says, to come off. This is where that water was, so I want to get a little more glue there. This is not going to be a perfect glue. It will have some bumps. It will have some texture. I don't care. I just want it secure, and I just don't want it to bug me. Now, before I put this page down, I'm going to bring up the weight of the cover so that this page has a better chance of gluing straight down onto the page that has the glue on it. If I leave my book flat and open, this top page would have been pulled back. So I lift this up and I put it down, and you can even take your smoother. I even have a better smoother for the next part. Any ruler would do, but just this gets it really smooth. This is a Diane Reevely ruler, and I love it. I use it for all kinds of things. Okay, so there's my first page. You know what? Your cord there. I keep bumping. Let's hope I moved it. Okay, so now I still have some torn pages there. I'm going to leave it. This could be my next page. That would mean tearing out here and tearing out here. So let's do them one at a time. Start a tear because it's connected to another page. You know, when you stitch a book, you have double. You stitch down the middle and then you fold it. So this has a partner page somewhere in the book. And so I want to be gentle and tear it that way. This feels so thick. It feels like 2 pages. It's 1. These are the things I do look for. Now I'm going to see, it feels like 2. That's why I'm tearing 2. This here is the center. So let's tear this out. And now the glue goes here. So theoretically, you want to try to have all these torn edges all covered by the 2 pages that you've glued together. Now, I know this is as boring as can be to watch this, but my hands, I have arthritis, and my hands are just not as strong as I wish they would. So it just takes me a couple of hands to get this glue out of here. I almost wish it was in a caulk gun. But Aleene's tacky glue is just that. It's tacky. Let's stick it way out on the edges. Okay, let's get this guy. Smooth it down. Lift my cover. Bring this page down. And smooth it, smooth it. Now I'm going to take this guy and really smooth it down. And there. Okay. And that's how I'm going to go through this whole book now that I've harvested pictures that I want. I'm going to be, remember I just said we were right there at that page. Now let's see. I think I still have a page. Here we go. So all of that I'm afraid is going to be out unless I wanted to glue this to here. But man, that'd be a thick page. So I'm just going to, later I might, take a little scissors and cut some of that out. So this one would be left alone. This one would be pulled. Look at those sweet little ducks. This one comes off. And this one gets glued. Sorry. Ugh. It's not that empty. We'll just do one more page like this and then we'll quit with this nonsense. I feel like I can squeeze my heart out. If there's no glue down there, all I'm doing is hurting my hands. Now, I did a prep on a journaling by fives. It was very similar to this. Lift up my cover, put this on here, line it up. And that's how I'm going to go through this whole book. And then my pages will be looking like this. Oh, look. Now, what happened here? That goes there. We've got a spare page here. That's okay. We've got this page here. And there we go. So I'm going to turn a page. I'm going to tear out a page. I'm going to glue the 2 together all the way through the rest of this book. So that's how I got this book. Now this book, similar. But this book, I am probably going to need to gesso the pages. I won't I won't be able to just go straight on with acrylic, and certainly most markers, maybe a Sharpie if you let it dry. But here, I'll show you. This is a Sharpie. And we'll give it a couple of seconds to dry. I'm gonna start. I'm not tearing out. This book is not that thick compared to the spine, so I am not, oh, now the glue is coming. I am not going to be taking every other page out. I'm just going to be gluing together every other page. Okay. How do you lose things so fast? I don't know, but that's why I have spares. I realize I'm completely off frame right now, but that's because this book is so long. And yeah, sometimes when you sit down and go to use one of these books, you have to kind of maybe touch up the glue. That's all right. Okay, lifting up the cover and then start laying this down and smoothing it down. Good. And now let's see about this. Okay, so look, now that Sharpie, so that tells me a lot, because some pages, like a magazine, a Sharpie would still smear. So the page is porous enough that I won't necessarily have to use gesso on it. You know, sometimes I use gesso. Sometimes I like to just collage on top with book page, something like that. Okay. And now these two are glued together. Look, where is my spreader? Right there, Julie. Let's get a little paper towel. If I'm sounding a little worse for the wear, I am suffering with a very bad cold. But I still wanted to get a video out because when I'm not here, I miss you guys. So there we've got that. So now this is going to be ready. So I went ahead and I skipped this one. I skipped this was missing. I didn't tear it out. I didn't tear anything out of this book. This was just missing. But this is not a double, see? So I had skipped those, but this was the first where it opened up. So now I've got this. So now this one and this one are going to be the next ones that I glue together. But isn't this gonna be fun to journal in? I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to hook the camera to the ceiling so you can see, but this is just gonna be so fun to journal in. Okay, so size, the type of holding together of the spine. Is it stitched? Is it glued? Those are things I look for. How shiny are the pages? If they're shiny like a magazine, I wouldn't discard the idea, but I would just keep it in my mind that I'm going to have to gesso pages before I just go on with acrylic paints and things like that. Or, you know, at the very least, you might want to do a test like I did to see. But this book is great, and I picked it because it's unique. I've never even seen an art journal that you can buy that's like that. I look for, let me grab this other book. Seems to be my newest habit. I throw things too far away. Okay, so I look again. This one stitch seamed, not glued, and dull paper and heavy paper. This paper is heavy, but that's why I'm tearing out. And like I said, now that these have some glue, I can go in here, you know, like maybe just when I'm watching television, maybe go in with some tiny little scissors. I've got some little guys like this, and I can just, you know, take my time and work through and get these out while I'm doing something else. But it's one of those slow boats to China, and I just know that it doesn't make for good video material, but that's what I'll do to clean that up. And then here we go. But these pages are going to be great. Okay. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you will consider liking, subscribing, and next time we get together, hopefully we'll be working in some of these journals. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.